Idea Coach is here to review Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox. Now, I never read Flashpoint, the comic book itself that took place 2 years ago, what leads into what the DC Universe is today. So I'm coming as clean as possible. Now, there's a couple of categories I'm going to have and criteria for reviewing this movie, and that is characterization, animation, the pacing, whether or not it's entertaining, and of course, the story. So since this is an animated DVD, let's just talk about the animation first. The animation of Flashpoint Paradox is kind of a double-edged sword because they take a couple of good cues from anime, and when I say that, I'm talking about, having a lot of the budget be placed on all the action sequences, and then the characterization or non-action moments be kind of subpar to Western standards. Now, this is a very Japanese style when it comes to the first opening sequences where you see Barry Allen as a kid, where the from the eyes to the tip of the mouth looks just a little bit almost purposely lazy. But at the same time, going back to this whole Naruto influence, the Flash actually does a fucking Rasengan in the first fight sequence of the movie. Now, the quality of artwork varies from time to time, and some Justice League members, namely Superman and the main villain Zoom, look a little bit too different compared to everyone else that's in the movie. They seem to be a little bit too bulky compared to a number of the other characters. Now, the alternate universe Batman suffers the same artwork style. Now, just like Young Justice was canceled because the animation cost too much money, I think that the producers of this, DC Entertainment, realized that they didn't want to throw a whole lot of cash to the animation. So, like I said before, they put a lot of emphasis on the action sequences, and there's a number of them. So this is not a kids movie or a boring movie at all, visually speaking. When it comes to a couple of different hiccups going on, at the very final sequence, there's an interaction between the Flash and Zoom, where it's the best artwork and the worst artwork that I've ever seen. I mean, there's one part of the movie is short, but it takes you really out of the movie itself between Zoom and the Flash, where it looks damn near amateur. Overall, though, I have to say, if you balance it out and average it, it's still pretty good. On to the story of Flashpoint. At the very beginning, you find out that Barry Allen's mother was killed by some sort of perpetrator, and he never found out who killed his mother while he was walking home from school, blames himself for not being fast enough, and that pretty much leads to him at some point later on in life trying to change, the past by saving his mother. Now, what this ends up doing is creating the whole universe that Flash is pretty much thrusted into. After that sequence with the Justice League and the Rogues, we're pretty much thrusted into the actual story of the Flashpoint Paradox. And this is a world where Aquaman's Atlanteans and Wonder Woman's Amazonians are at war with one another, with America pretty much caught in the middle. Why is there a war? Well, that's never really explained, but it's forgivable because our Flash, our protagonist, comes in the middle of that war. So I think trying to backtrack why all these events took place would be a little bit boring and very mundane. The biggest problem of the story is that it forces you to accept a lot. Superman in this world is a bitch for some unexplainable reason. Martian Manhunter is not there and we don't know why. And the war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman does not really have a clear end-game goal. Like, you don't know really what is at risk for Wonder Woman if she loses. What is at risk for Aquaman if he loses? We never really get a sense of that. And I don't know if this is just taken from the comic books or not, but it seems a little bit unflash like that. The Flash wouldn't try to have these two work it out or mediate the situation. The interaction with the normal Justice League and the normal Flash is excellent. I really did like the characterization of how everyone worked together. It seemed very Justice League to me. But that only happens for one scene. There's actually a very excellent fight scene between the Justice League and the Flash's Rogues, where you can actually see for the first time that the Flash's Rogues, if they work together, can really do a lot of damage. Previous versions, like in Justice League, didn't really show it all that much. But once again, since the story is not in the normal universe, the problems of that new world is not the center of the story, actually. It's really about the Flash getting back to his home and accepting that he can't change everything in the past. Personally, I think that the pacing of this movie is actually very well done. There's just the right amount of characterization and action going on in the movie. Unlike many of the past DC animations, I think this is the right one to have someone who's new to the DC universe be engaged with all the other side characters, now not Superman and not Batman. You know, there's always something visually interesting taking place like every few minutes, but you also get the sense of hopelessness of the alternate universe and the plight of Barry Allen and the menacing aspect of Zoom, the main villain, which is the key component in any sort of comic book related story. The only problem is that there's so much happening so fast that it's not until really the end that you really feel that the movie gels together properly. You know, but I'll say this, I really didn't think it was going to end the way it did, and it did a little switch on me, and that is a good thing. The only reason you're listening to me or any other reviewer for this DVD is you want to know whether or not this is entertaining. And the answer to that is yes. I love the bomb sequence with the Flash Rogues and the Justice League. There's a couple cool jokes that Batman from the alternate universe and Barry Allen's mother, also from the alternate universe, cracked. One thing I have to really say, that all the fights, no matter how minute compared to the big war that's taking place in this Earth, all had a sense of weight to them. There's even a fight with Batman, who has guns because he's Thomas Wayne in this universe, not Bruce, fighting a girl who I believe is like an alternate version of Harley Quinn with yo-yos. And you really see that even though that fight is just a melee fight, there's a sense of weight and gravity that's taking place with those two characters fighting each other. Now, this is not a kids movie, to say the least. Over the past year, DC has really shown its teeth, especially in its mass media productions, with the destruction they can cause in their own universe. Injustice, Gods Among Us, Superman, the Man of Steel, and now Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. Even though the war is not really explained, you do get the sense of its importance because everyone is being affected by it in some way. Now, the key that this movie has done has gotten me interested in knowing what happened in all those other Flashpoint tie-ins in their own comic books when that event took place. I really do want to know more about, Green Arrow's aspect and Batman's aspect and Captain Marvel's aspect. Not Superman so much, but it's cool to see all those small winks that is given in the background with side characters like Clayface and Black Lightning and a number of other ones. Now, in this kind of, post-Superman Doomsday DVD world that the DC Entertainment guys have produced for us, there's only been about 4 non-Batman, non-Superman DVDs they produced. 2 Green Lantern ones, one was good, one was bad, 1 Wonder Woman that was excellent, and Flashpoint, which I say is a must-buy. I really did like it. The artwork, the pacing especially. The story, whatever gripes you have with the story, you're probably going to have the same gripes with the comic book. But if you're someone, especially if someone's new to the DC universe, there's the way they explain how everything works is so amazingly easy to take in, even though a lot is not said about it. I mean, just from the visuals and just from how the characters interact with one another, you really do get the essence of all the characters in both the normal world and the alternate world. So that's my take on Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. Please go and buy it, watch it by any means. It's excellent. Subscribe, comment, take care.